Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Golden Bachelor, April Kirkwood wants chance with Joan's man. Golden Bachelor alums Kathy Swartz and Susan Knowles joked about taking Joan Vasso's Golden Bachelorette leftovers. But they aren't the only ones with eyes on Joan's men. Their former co-star, April Kirkwood, took to Instagram to share which of Joan's suitors she thinks would be her perfect match. Keep reading to see if you agree. Joan Vasso's Golden Bachelorette season so far. Joan Vassos was chosen as the first Golden Bachelorette. She was a contestant on Jerry Turner's season, but had to leave early. The new Bachelor spinoff kicked off last week. With 2 episodes under her belt, Joan has already sent home 10 of her 24 suitors. Chalk Chapel is an early front-runner after warming Joan's heart and stomach with a special bowl of soup. Other early fan favorites include Pascal Abvie and First Impression Rose winner Keith Gordon. But only one man can win Joan Vasso's final Golden Rose. The rest of the men could potentially find love with the ladies of Golden Bachelor if ABC goes ahead with a Golden Bachelor in Paradise season. April Kirkwood isn't waiting to stake her claim on one of Joan's men. April Kirkwood didn't find love with Jerry Turner either, but she's remained active on social media and in Bachelor Nation. She took to her Instagram to share a message she'd received from a viewer. A fan sent her a screenshot of a discussion in a forum about the franchise on a social media platform. The screenshot was about how Joan's suitor, Pascal Abvie, would be a great match for April. She captioned the screenshot, "Do you agree? He is feisty with my energy." Bachelor Nation fans react. April Kirkwood's social media followers want her to find a love again. But is Pascal the right one for her? Assuming Joan doesn't choose him in the end, several people thought he would be a perfect match for April. Check out some of the comments on her post. "I'm all for a paradise type of show, but on a cruise ship for the Goldens. I'd love to see the cast from your season and the discarded Golden Bachelors in Paradise. You and Pascal would be a great match. I think you and Jack would be comedy gold, but could also see Jack with Ellen and you with Pascal. Yes, you two would either have so much fun together or hate each other, but you both are spunky and adventurous and well-traveled. Yes, y'all would be perfect." April Kirkwood had always been the woman who knew what she wanted, and at this stage in her life, nothing had changed. As the limelight of the Golden Bachelor season unfolded, it was clear that the stakes were high, not just for love, but for reclaiming the power of connection in their golden years. Yet, amidst the laughter, tears, and whirlwind dates, one man had caught her eye, and that man was Joan's. Joan, graceful and poised, had been a frontrunner since day one. With her silver-streaked hair and calm demeanor, she commanded attention without even trying. But April? April was a firecracker. She wasn't about to let Joan waltz off into the sunset with the prize just because she played her cards quietly. April had come here for love, and she had her eyes set on a man who seemed to bring out the best in her. Someone Joan had already marked as her territory. It wasn't just about competition, it was about chemistry. April could feel it in every glance, every moment they shared, even if those moments were brief. The man, let's call him David, was the epitome of everything April had imagined for her golden chapter of romance. He was kind, charming, and had a sense of humor that lightened her world. He had eyes that sparkled with wisdom, laughter, and a little mischief, something April adored. And, of course, he wasn't hard on the eyes. But Joan had already staked her claim, hadn't she? April replayed the moment in her mind, when David had reached for Joan's hand during the cocktail party. The warmth between them was undeniable. The producers had captured it, lingering on the pair as they stood under the twinkling lights of the mansion's garden, wrapped in what looked like an intimate conversation. But April had seen something else, something that most of the others had missed. It wasn't the passion of love blooming between Joan and David, it was hesitation. David had glanced over his shoulder, just for a brief second. But in that second, his eyes had met April's. And that was enough. April's secret confidence. April sat in the mansion's plush living room, nursing a glass of white wine as the chatter of the other women filled the room. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was meant to make a move. April wasn't the type to play dirty, that wasn't her style. But she also wasn't the type to sit back and let something, or someone, slip through her fingers. She leaned back in her chair, observing Joan across the room. Joan's laugh was soft, her mannerisms delicate, and she had a quiet way of charming everyone in the room. April respected her, truly, but this was a competition. And if there was one thing April had learned in life, it was that you couldn't wait for love to come to you. Sometimes you had to go out and grab it. "You seem deep in thought, April, Sandra," one of the other contestants said, taking a seat beside her. Sandra, who had become somewhat of a confidant, raised an eyebrow as if she already knew what, or rather, who, was on April's mind. April smiled, her crimson lips curving in a way that suggested she wasn't about to divulge everything just yet. "I'm always deep in thought, Sandra. You should know that by now." Sandra chuckled. "Is it about David?" April didn't deny it. "Maybe." Sandra's eyes twinkled with curiosity. "He's a good one. But you know Joan's had her eye on him since the beginning." April's gaze drifted across the room, landing on Joan once more. "Yes, I know. But who's to say he's only looking at her?" The balcony moment. Later that evening, April found herself on the mansion's balcony, staring out into the California night. The stars above twinkled with a kind of promise she hadn't felt in years. It was funny, she thought, how life could give you second chances in the most unexpected ways. She didn't hear David approach until he was standing beside her. His presence was warm, comforting, and familiar, even though they hadn't spent as much time together as she would have liked. "Beautiful night," David said, his voice soft but deep, the kind of voice that could lull her into 1,000 late-night conversations. April turned to face him, her smile coming easily. "It is. But I think it just got a little better." David chuckled, and that sound made something flutter in her chest. "I was hoping I'd get a chance to talk to you. Seems like you're always in high demand." April raised an eyebrow. "Me? I thought Joan had your undivided attention." David glanced away for a moment, as if considering his next words carefully. "Joan's wonderful. But I'm here to find the person who really gets me, you know." April's heart quickened. Was this her moment? She wasn't about to let it slip away. "I get that," she said, her voice steady. "And sometimes the person who gets you isn't the one everyone expects." David met her gaze then, his eyes locking onto hers in a way that made everything else fade away. There was a connection between them, something real and undeniable. April knew it wasn't just in her head. This was something worth fighting for. "I've been meaning to ask you," David said, stepping just a little closer. "Would you like to join me for one of the one-on-one dates next week?" April's breath caught. This was it. The chance she'd been waiting for. "I'd love to," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. The fallout. The news of David's invitation spread like wildfire the next morning. Joan, for all her grace, couldn't hide her disappointment. She cornered April in the kitchen, her expression calm but her eyes sharp. "You went after him?" Joan said, not accusing but simply stating the fact. April didn't deny it. "I did. But I didn't steal him, Joan. He made his choice." Joan sighed, her shoulders sagging just a little. "I just thought, well, I thought we had something special." April softened because she wasn't heartless. She knew Joan had felt a connection too. But love wasn't something you could predict. "You do have something special, Joan. But maybe he and I do too." A new chapter. As the week progressed, April and David's connection only grew stronger. Joan watched from the sidelines, handling it with the grace she was known for. But everyone could see the shift. April was no longer just another contestant. She was someone who had fought for what she wanted, and it seemed like David was ready to fight for her too. In the golden glow of their shared moments, April knew one thing for sure: love, no matter your age, was always worth the risk.